Well, Clark, I think the first time I interviewed you might have been with Jimmy Cowan coming back from a Colts game at the airport. Was that right? That's a long time ago.
Oh, it's not that long ago, Tom. Yeah, it was. It probably might have been actually, and yeah, it was a few years ago.
What year would that have been?
That would have been 2001, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, so a few years ago now.
Well, lots happened since then. First of all, let's fill in the gap from the time you left Southland and return for those watching.
Yeah, so I got away over to London, played for London Irish. We were there for 5 years. For the last 2 of those seasons I was captain over there, so that was a great opportunity. We really enjoyed our time over there. London's a great place to live, and the rugby's tough but different, and I learned a lot about being a front rower.
Very forward based still in the UK football?
Yeah, well, luckily enough, London Irish is a team that sort of prides itself on playing expansive rugby, or expanse in the style of, compared to other teams over there. So it was a good fun team to play for. They give you a chance to express yourself, and forwards can actually pass the ball, so it was good fun. But like I say, I learned a lot about the set piece as well. It's obviously dictated to a lot in the way games end up over there. Is you've got to have a good set piece to get anything going.
And did you enjoy as a team success in that period?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got there, the first couple of years we were really successful. We got into the Heineken Cup semi-final. We played Toulouse at Twickenham. That was a good moment. And then the year after, we played Leicester in the final at Twickenham of the Premiership. So we lost by 1 point, I think, in that game. So it was a bit of a blow. But since then, our squad depth we lost squad depth, which you really need over there. You need to spend a lot of money to keep the squad together, and for whatever reason we didn't do that and sort of drifted away. But they've now been taken over again by a different group of Irish businessmen who are going to put a bit of money in, so hopefully they can come back. And
it's a pretty intense program. We talk about a busy schedule here, but you're playing a lot of weeks of the year, aren't you?
Yeah, and being a more experienced player, they like to get their money's worth out of you, so you don't get many weeks off. But it's all good. The last couple of years we had the extra prop on the bench, which makes it easier. So generally playing sort of 60 minutes one week, 20 the next, which made it a bit easier on the body. But yes, it's a tough gig sometimes.
And part of that, if I recall, the reason for going is to get the OE experience with the family, wasn't it? And to perhaps less travel that you had here. Do you get the benefits of that? Yeah,
Carter was one when we went over, and we obviously, financial reasons aside, part of the reason was to get over there. Obviously it's a long way, but we're together as a family a lot more. Maggie was born over there, so there was that side of it as well, which was tough at the time, but she got to experience a bit of the lifestyle as well, which was what it was all about. We got to see some places in Europe that a lot of people probably don't get to see, but no, it was a good move for us.
And how did the decision to come home come about? Was it just time?
I ended up getting injured. I hurt my back. 18 months later, after surgery, I had to stop because it just got to that point. I'd love to still be playing now. I just can't. It's pretty much the reason. I'm 34 now, and that's just getting into your prime in England. Like the guys, I was marking guys that were 38, 39. That's commonplace. So as long as you look after yourself, you can keep going for a while.
So once that injury kicked in, did you ever consider staying there permanently, or was your intention always to come home?
No, the plan was always to come home. It was just a couple of years early, but generally when your visa runs out, they're pretty quick to ship you off. And London's an expensive place to live when you're not earning a good wage. So no, we packed up within a couple of months and we're home then. It was a big shift, and to be honest, we're probably still settling in now. The kids, not so much. They're around family, and they've settled in nicely. Good schooling and open spaces, which is a big difference. But we're getting there now. Obviously, this role is going to help things along as well.
Did you have an after rugby plan? I know you had to bring it forward because of your injury, but did you have an idea of what you would do?
No, I was one of those players that was really good at telling the development officer I'm sorted, and I was just going to leave it till later on. So actually now I'm studying now. I was laughing the other day that if I'd actually studied one paper a term in my rugby career, I'd be almost a doctor by now. But so I've learnt the hard way, and I'm studying through Massey extramurally, which I'm enjoying, and it's pretty tough to get the brain going again.
What subject?
I've done economics, and now I'm doing marketing management, just picking up some papers. So it's good fun.
So the coaching position, you did a little bit when you came back, haven't you? You've been helping out in various teams.
Yeah, I've sort of been sort of getting around a wee bit, just doing bits and bobs really. I've done some set piece stuff with the Stags the last couple of seasons. It's great to get a chance now to do that core role and now maybe try and branch into something a bit more.
Well, let's talk about the scrums. They change them all the time, frustrate the hell out of a lot of people. How do you see the current system, the setting of the scrum? Is it better or worse than before?
Oh, I think if you talk to any front row, that it's a prop especially. I'm not so much the hookers. I got a fair bit of pressure on them, but without that big impact of the hit, it's a lot easier on the body, and it's probably more of a contest. I don't know about putting it straight down the middle. I mean, it's pretty hard for the hooker to reach that far, and they compromise their body position. They get all bent up, and it's not very pleasant for them. So I think if they could bring that back a wee bit, like the dominant scrum are still going to get reward. The ones that are going forward are going to get the reward. So I think there's still a wee way to go.
What about this? From what you know, the resources down here, scrum-wise, are you buoyant that we're going to have what it takes?
Yeah, I mean, you've got some guys that have got a lot of experience there, so that always helps. There's some young guys in the region now that they're going to be knocking on the door, so it's time for them to have a go, and that's always exciting to see what they can bring.
Your contribution will go beyond scrummaging, though, isn't it? Because you've got captaincy experience, you played a lot of football, you've got a lot of knowledge to share.
Yeah, well, hopefully I can get that across. Sometimes that's not always the easiest. You've got plenty of ideas, but it's just getting them across to players so they can understand it. But I've been exposed to some pretty good coaches in my time, so hopefully some of that's rubbed off.
Were you a good player to coach? Were you responsive and listening?
When I was young, I was. When you get set in your way, sometimes you think you know a bit better. But it's all about taking it on board. Sometimes players, or as a player, I would sort of take what I needed out of it to make myself better, and generally that's all you can ask.
You look back on a great playing career. I know you can't play anymore, but an All Black jersey, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's always nice to be able to see that hanging in the wardrobe. I mean, it's a pretty exclusive club, so to be able to say I've achieved that's pretty cool.
And great for Southlanders to look at you can do it from here. We've talked about that often, but you still can you?
Yeah, I think it's as real as ever. If you're good enough, you can get your exposure from anywhere. All Black coaches are always talking to coaches around the provinces, so they've got their eye up.
And I know it's just a raw combination, you and Hawani and Brad, but the early days, the chemistry's feeling good?
Yeah, obviously I've known Hawani for a long time, so that's
pretty good or bad?
Going. It's all good. He's actually got me started training back in the gym now, so he's putting a bit of pressure on me there. But obviously, first couple of times I've met Brad, he's a pretty approachable guy, and he's got some good ideas. So I'm pretty excited to see where he can take it. So
the season is looking up for you. You're looking forward to getting stuck in as soon as the club football starts, basically, aren't you?
Yeah, so the squad's been training for a fair while now, and then obviously these guys are quite fit now, so they'll be able to make an impact in the club rugby, and I guess the ball's in their court from that perspective.